Camille.
Don't take care. Hope to see you never.
Cabs are here!
Dude, stop acting like you're the number one guy in this group, man. I'm the number one guy in this group.
Things are about to get murderous.
Hello and welcome to Confessionals and Congressionals. My name's Lauren.
I'm Cassie.
And today we're recapping The Challenge, Season 41, Episode 1. We realized we missed Episode 0, so we have to go back and watch that. But today we're going to be talking about that. Before we get into it, this is a pop culture and politics and current events podcast. We sometimes talk about all of them. We sometimes talk about just some of them. If you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, comment. We are on YouTube. We are on social media. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And your support means the world to us. It lets us know that people are listening and that we should keep doing this. So please do that. And with that said, let's get into it. Okay, this week, the long-awaited recap of The Challenge, Season 41, Episode 1. We've got all of our favorites from a bunch of different reality TV shows making an appearance this season, including CT, Johnny Bananas, Aneesa. Who are your other favorites?
Well, I don't know if I would call it, Derek, one of my favorites. Both Dereks, really. Not loving, I used to really like Cara Maria, but I am not a fan anymore. So I'm ready for her to go already.
Yeah, she seems a little bitter and angry, is what I noticed, not having any context for her. So yeah, we're going to get into it. First up, Cass, how are you now that this new season of The Challenge has hit the streets? I know you've been really looking forward to this.
I really loved, like, at the end of the episode when they showed you what was coming. I was like, okay, this actually looks like a good season. And I, for the first time, I'm in my 40s and I was able to contribute something of value to Reddit this week. And I'm very pleased with that. So I'll tell all two of our listeners that if you can't find The Challenge on Amazon, if you search for The Challenge, it will give you The Challenge and it'll show you seasons 10 through 40. But if you type in Challenge 41, it comes up as its own show. So it's not listed under The Challenge. And so when I posted that, when I realized that and I bought it on Amazon and then I told the Reddit group that watches, like, oh, this is how you find it. I got like 10 big thank yous. Like I couldn't find it anywhere. Thank God. I've been looking. And I was like, wow, I contributed something good to Reddit. Look at that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And hopefully all 10 of those people will convert to listeners because they'll be looking for a recap podcast for The Challenge, which probably doesn't exist except for this one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't listened to the previous episodes, this is my first time watching The Challenge. I've never seen it. My only context for The Challenge is The Traitors, which they had a bunch of people from The Challenge on The Traitors. So I know those people. So I know Johnny Bananas and I know CT. And I think I know Cara Marie from something, or maybe I just know her from like the pop culture of it all. But yeah, so this is my first season. So I'm excited. There's definitely a lot of players here at the beginning. So do you want to kind of get into the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So you're going to be walking us through the different parts, and then I will be providing the commentary I had. And I feel like watching this episode, I was a little like lost in the sauce because I don't have a ton of context for these people. I don't know how the show works. I've never seen any other episodes. I didn't go do research before this to see any more episodes because we have enough to watch for this podcast. So I haven't had time to go back and watch. So this is my earliest exposure, and all of that is to say I had like 10 comments because I just feel like I don't have enough yet to go on.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I mean, I remember I had you watch like the kind of like the documentary of The Challenge, so you could at least get an idea. And what's interesting is that each season gets bigger than the last, and what I mean by that is like the challenges themselves. Like, for example, in this challenge, that the very first challenge we saw, they had to like get these balls into buckets or barrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
They dropped the balls from a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's so
Completely unnecessary. No, I was thinking too, like when they dropped them from the helicopter, that can't have been the first time. They had to first do some like math equations. How high up can we drop these from without them doing something crazy or breaking? I don't really know how physics works in that way. And then also, I'm sure they had to do it a couple times to get like the exact right bounce they're trying to get on camera and stuff. So yeah,
yes. It's just like it's so crazy over the top.
yeah,
And even when we saw like the preview for upcoming episodes, like there was one where they show like a maze from over top and it's huge.
yeah,
You know, it's like bigger than a
yeah,
cornfield and it's an actual structured maze. And I'm just like, when you look at earlier seasons, you know, it was like, all right, tug of war, let's go. Here's a rope.
yeah, totally. The production value and like what they're able to do has gone up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like similar. If the traders would have started 20 years ago, I'm sure it would be similar. Like the traders, it's like they're flying you over the canyon, hanging by a helicopter, and you have to toss a ring into a fire ring. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we find out when they get there that TJ is going to put them into teams of two, and it looks like it's going to be a veteran with a new threat.
Okay. Yep.
All right, so at least that's how they're going to start it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering, do they keep teams throughout the whole show? Is that a typical structure of it?
You never know.
Okay.
You never ever know. Like, obviously, kind of same thing. Like in the early seasons, yeah, it would be like, all right, it's red team versus blue team. Here we go. You know, and that was the season. But now they shake it up a lot. So there's no way to really know. And at the end of this episode, TJ says, I think it's time for you guys to have new partners. And that's how the episode ends.
That's right.
So we know that he's going to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
And so at the beginning, the vets got to pick their partner.
It seemed like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see that though.
No.
But somebody alluded, I think it was Johnny Bananas, was saying like, I picked her because basically he wanted to flirt with her.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch it this week, but I don't know why they did this, but there was an episode 0 that came out a week ago that they put on YouTube.
Oh.
And so it's not part of what you buy, right? But
Okay.
it's free on YouTube.
Okay.
And so when they were showing little flashes like how of them getting their partners, and I'm like, you guys did not do a really good job letting people know you should watch that first episode 0.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like because I haven't seen it, I didn't know like is this normal, but I just felt like they kind of just threw. I felt like I missed an episode. I'm like,
Yes.
what? We're just jumping into the challenge, and I was like, is this how it always goes? I just assumed it was, and that's part of the thing. But yeah, I felt like they didn't do a good job of setting the stage.
I 100% agree. I felt like that was really done poorly. And especially, you know, like MTV so desperately wants to like get people to watch live, and it's just not going to happen. We're all cutting the cord to cable. And so it just means that most of us are going to look for options to buy it on Apple or Amazon so that we can watch. And if you don't have episode 0 on there, then, you know, but yeah, it's free on
Sure.
YouTube. So I'm going to watch it, but I totally agree. Like I think I rewound the beginning like 4 times because I'm like,
Yeah,
what
being like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just very poorly done, but it does look like they picked whoever the vets picked whoever their new threat partner was going to be.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I think that makes sense. Yeah. So we get into the first challenge, and we're kind of getting like an intro to all of the pairs, which I did find helpful. But yeah, again, it felt like it took me a while to start to understand what was happening because I felt like we just jumped right in. So I had to rewatch it this morning just to kind of refresh, especially the beginning, because I was like trying to put the pieces together for so long that I wasn't paying attention to the characters.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems like we have quite a few people from the UK because we can see that they kind of immediately decide to form an alliance. We're going to stick together.
And we kind of see just like a flashback to that, I think.
Yeah.
Probably from episode 0 because we enter the episode and there's already a rivalry going on between the UK and the US. And so the US people are already thinking we got to get out at least one UK person and vice versa.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to have to watch episode 0, obviously.
Yeah.
MTV, great job.
Yeah.
They need to like send us the screeners, I think, and listen to our feedback.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the other thing was with the challenge itself. So basically what happens is you have all these pairs and these balls fall into what looks like a crater, in
Yeah, like a
the
meteor
earth.
crater.
Right. Which my first thought was like, did they dig this out or did they find it? Like, I really hope they found it, but I think
Yeah.
they dug it out. Like,
Yeah.
so they drop all these balls and they have to go down into the crater, get a ball and bring it back and put it in their barrel. And all of the balls are worth a different point based on color. I don't know about you, but I felt like they did a shitty job explaining.
I didn't even know that.
Okay. I felt like they did a horrible job explaining the point system of the balls because when the challenge ends, there's only 8 teams that even have points and the rest didn't get any points, but they had balls. So I'm like, did some of them have like a negative? I don't understand.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't notice that part because I'm not so good at the counting points thing. So I usually just let them do that. I'm like
Yeah.
ignoring that part. Yeah. Okay. So maybe they didn't do a good job of explaining it to the listeners or the participants.
Yeah, because like CT, who is back to his dad bod. This is so funny because he was on a few years ago and he had dad bod.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he had gotten back into peak shape.
Yeah.
And now he's back to dad bod. And then I saw he posted on Instagram yesterday and he's like clearly started to see the season and was like, crap. And he's back into like working out and trying to like get fit. So
he's older, isn't he in his 40s?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm sure I would be like a freaking psycho if I saw myself on a TV screen, but
well, and you look at like
I'd be like, get me a GLP-1, get me, and it's like I look totally normal, but in my head, yeah.
Well, when you like look at the people that are next to them, right? Like there's some dudes that are just ripped. And
yeah, like CT, if you're listening, the dad bod is what we like about you.
Yes.
You are the dad bod and the dad bod is you.
Yeah, own it. We still love you. But him and his partner, like, he's telling her what a great job she did and she killed it and all this. But then when TJ goes over the points, like they don't have any points.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I am so confused.
Yeah, and so let's back up a little bit because if you didn't, for whatever reason, watch this episode, they're also doing two-legged race style. They're like tied together at the leg.
Yes.
So they're running down the hill together, having to keep rhythm with each other, and then run back up. And so it's not only as an exhausting like run up and down, and they're sliding on their butts and they're like falling and all of that kind of stuff. It requires the communication between the two of you. It requires the coordination between the two of you. Like it's a team. You have to be like functioning as a team together. And yeah, so they're all over the place really. And so yeah, then CT and his partner don't get any points.
Yeah.
Of course, the person who ends up winning,
Johnny Bananas.
Yeah, arrogant as fuck.
God, you know who he kind of reminds me of? When they were showing the clips for the upcoming episodes, there's one where he's like, you're here because of me. I am the challenge.
Yep.
And I'm like, hello, Jax Taylor. Welcome to the show.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Johnny Bananas is the Jax Taylor of the challenge.
I think
and
so.
You just can't get rid of him.
Yeah, no, you
They
can't.
come back.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We also had this girl that I think she's new, Adrian.
Yes.
And she
hurts herself right away.
Right away. And like, we don't really like the way that they're editing it. It's kind of like there's a rock in her shoe. Like they're making it seem as if it's not that big a deal, and then when the challenge is over, she's getting stitches in her foot. And I just like want to punch her partner for how like flippant he was. He's like, okay, I know it hurts. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, she needed stitches, you dick. Like,
yeah.
That, yeah.
Do you think she's going to have to go home because she's hurt? Or how does that work usually in the challenge?
Well, that was another thing that really surprised me is in any other season, and I haven't been watching some of the newer ones, so it's possible it's changed, but in any other season, she would have left right then. She said that they told her she can't walk on it for 5 days. these challenges are usually done filming in like 2 to 3 weeks. Like it is
Yeah.
every day we have a challenge.
Right.
So
Yeah. So she
I'm
would have gone home on her own or would have been sent home?
she would have been sent home.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, usually an injury like that, no, you're out of here.
Yeah.
You're out of here. So, I mean, they get sent home if they're we had one season where a married woman realized she was pregnant
Nice.
and so she had to go.
She was married, everyone. She was married. She was married. Okay? So,
Yeah.
no slut shaming on this podcast.
So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that she's even still there.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, so she hurts herself. She's staying. We'll see how she does. I would assume if she doesn't go home, if she starts to slow down anybody, they're going to vote her out. Is that how that would work? Probably work, if not for going home on her own or being sent home?
Well, the reason that they might not vote her out is if she's injured, sometimes you want to keep your weak links in the game because they're easier to beat.
Gotcha.
Right? Like you're going to end up having a final challenge and it's going to be pretty physical.
Yeah.
So the weaker people that you can take along with you, and so it's always hard because especially if you're not sure who your partners are going to be. Right? So you're kind of like trying to weigh, I definitely want somebody strong to be my partner.
Yeah.
And I want weak people to be on the other team. But what if TJ suddenly mixes it up and then I get stuck with this weak person?
Yeah.
So it's tough. But I would
Yeah,
think
it's tough.
for a while, I would think they would keep her because for a while she'd be easy to beat in these challenges that they're doing.
Okay.
That would be my thought.
Yeah. So yeah, then Bananas and his partner get first place. And he does mention and in the moment, that's what they call it on this show. Did you hear that?
No.
They call the confessionals in the moments,
Okay.
which is another way that people say confessionals or they call them ITMs. And so anyway, in the moment, in the ITM, Bananas talks about how he chose her because he wants to flirt with her, which is annoying.
I don't think that I don't think Johnny Bananas has, like, in all the years that he's been on these shows, I've never known him to be in a relationship. Ever.
Yeah, he gives me the ickies.
Well, yeah.
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 So that means I have really good taste. So then those two get to select two people to have to go up against each other in the like finale challenge where one person has to go. Or
No.
I can't remember how that worked.
Yeah, I know, because they did a piss poor job explaining it. They
Yeah.
get to save. So they know they're not going to go in.
That's right.
And then they get to save people, like pick one pair that you're going to save that can't be voted in. The
Right.
losers automatically are going in.
Yep.
And then everybody is going to vote on who's going to go against the losers.
Right. Okay.
And then TJ does a coin toss to decide if it's going to be a guy's challenge or a girl's challenge.
Gotcha.
And it's going to be a guy's challenge. So,
okay. And is that coin toss for guys versus girls a common, like, oh, okay.
No, normally it's just like, you don't know if it's going to be guys or girls, but then after that, it just rotates. Like it'll be like, all right, today's a guy's night. Then that means tomorrow's a girl's night. Then that means, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if he just did that for the first one or he's going to do that every day.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I guess maybe it will start rotating from now on so that it's even. That would be my guess.
I would think.
Yeah. Also, I noticed that everybody was like really, oh my gosh, about the arena, and their jaws were on the floor. Is this a typical arena, or were they just sort of doing that because probably the producers told them to act surprised and like in awe of the arena, or is this one particularly amazing?
I think a little bit of both. I think they were probably asked to like be excited, but just like the challenges, the arenas have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Like it used to just be like a ring in the sand. That's it. Now it's like they build these, and it usually tries to go with whatever their theme for that season is. They want it to reflect that in some way. And it's funny because on the like documentary that I had you watch, I ended up like kind of looking into some of the people that were in the documentary. It's just cute. I would be the same way, that like their set production team takes their job so serious.
Yeah.
Like so serious. And it's just cute to like watch them talk about the thought, because I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that. And that would probably break their hearts, because they're like, that was so, you know how much work went into that?
But also it's meant to all look like nothing is supposed to draw your attention. Nothing is supposed to stand out. It's supposed to all look cohesive and together and stuff. And I think they do a really good job of that.
Yeah, and they've made it like really good gladiator style almost, where they have them
Totally.
watching from above. And that's kind of new, where they're up above, like not new, but it's something that's evolved. It wasn't like that before. And I love that it's like that now, because it does give that like, just, yeah, like that gladiator feel to it.
Yeah.
So I also felt like usually there's a lot of focus in the episode on who is going to get voted in. That is normally the biggest part, other than like the challenge thing that they do, because that's where all the manipulation happens. Is like, trying to get the numbers on your side for who you want to send in to the elimination round. And I didn't.
So you mean the people that got sent in to do the wheel thing? Like that's the kind of main strategy at this point?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because you want your best person in.
Well, you definitely don't want to go in, right? At the end of every episode, you have this elimination round where somebody's going home. So we knew for sure the guy that lost the challenge was going to go into the elimination,
Yeah.
right? And so then the rest of the episode is everyone kind of scheming about who's going to go in against him. Now, like Johnny Bananas, they want another UK person to go in, because they know the UK people have an alliance. Right. So you've already got one UK guy going in because he lost.
Yeah.
So let's try to get everybody to vote a second UK person in.
Yeah.
That way we're definitely going to get rid of one of them, right? And then the UK people are like, no, we don't want to do that.
Nice try.
And they want to keep their alliance together. And then you also have to think about, like, so the person that we know was going in, what was his name? He was Adrian's partner. It was Rogan. So we knew Rogan was going in. And so Rogan said, I want to go against Justin, right? Because he thought Justin would be easy to beat. Yeah. So I want to go against Justin. And sometimes the people on the show will listen to what the person wants. Sometimes they won't. It's an easy vote. Like if you say, listen, Rogan wants to go against you. That's the only reason I'm voting for you, is because that's what Rogan wants. Then there's a chance that that person, in this case, Justin, if he wins, won't be mad at you when he comes back.
Right.
Because you don't want
even though
to be
he knows the strategy. He knows that that you can say that all you want, but
yes,
you are no longer probably my ally unless one of your allies was the one pushing for me, and then you might side with them first,
right,
over me. But still, I know I'm not your top, so I got to find another ally if I thought you were one.
Yes, and that's why you see Derek, like, at the end when he's like, anybody see that Homer meme where you just, like, want to slide into the bushes?
And Derek is the guy with the blonde hair, the other gay guy?
Yeah, there's two Dereks.
Okay.
So, yeah, but he's the gay guy that had been talking to him.
Yeah.
And, like, he knows, shit, he's coming back. And I just told him last night that I would always have his back, and I voted him in. So
you just put a target on your back, baby.
Exactly. So there's all that, like, this is the fun part of the show. Like, it's not going to bring in like real life drama the way The Valley does or Vanderpump, right? It's really the drama of these people in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's so similar to Traitors in terms of the social strategy in Survivor.
Yes. Yeah,
it's like a different game. It's a different show altogether. It lives in its own category.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It seems like the UK wins out and they get to throw in Justin. They have the numbers on their side, right? And that night when they're all kind of arguing with each other about who, I did write down, because I just thought it was funny, that Johnny Bananas said to one of them, like, "You're not going to gaslight me. I'm not one of your girlfriends." I don't know if you heard that, but it was like, because they were trying to talk him into like, no, we should do this. And so
And who
Johnny,
was that said that to him?
I forget it. Well, Johnny said it to someone.
Oh, Johnny said it to someone.
Yes. And
Interesting.
the thing about Johnny is like, he is an old hand at this. Like, he's played this game for 20 years, right? And he knows like what will get him on TV.
Yeah.
And like these little one-liners and jabs, and he thinks about things like that.
Totally. It's like if Jax were smart.
Yes. That's exactly what
Because he's obviously much smarter than Jax. So we do have to give him credit for that, because Jax is such a dummy.
that is.
But if Jax were smart, he would probably have played this whole thing a little differently.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it is Justin that goes in. And what I love about this is, so one thing I was thinking about these challenges is I'm sure that while they're still physical, you have people that are in their 40s. The other Derek is currently recovering from like his knee surgery and all of that, right? So I'm wondering if like the physicality of the challenges are like brought down a little bit just to make sure that everybody can do it.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
can see that, because we want to see the old vets on the show. But if you just had your meniscus surgery, you're not going to be able to do what you could 10 years ago. So, yeah.
Right. So, but still, I mean, the challenge, the elimination
It's still
challenge.
definitely hard.
Yeah. So they're basically like in a hamster wheel, and they are on a track that has little hills,
Yep.
and they need to get their hamster wheel down and back.
Yeah. And it's like,
yes.
so if anybody who's listening doesn't know what that sound effect means, it means that it looks a little bit like the bumpy part of a roller coaster, where like you have to get momentum going to get over the next hump, and then you get stuck in the bottom, and then you kind of have to get momentum going to get over the next hump.
Yes.
And there's this thing going on of like brains versus brawn, where at first there's just going as hard as they can, thinking, I just have to, if I can use all of my strength, I can get it over this.
Yeah. And did you, when you saw what the elimination was, who was your money on?
Well, I didn't immediately rule out Justin, I don't think, because I thought, yeah, that obviously, like when you're watching it, it's very obvious that you have to like get momentum going, at least in my opinion. I'm sure when you're in the wheel, it's a little less obvious what you're supposed to do. And so you need coaches to tell you what to do. But I felt like, oh yeah, this is something where once you kind of swing back and forth, you can get it going. Whereas because the two going against each other, there's one guy that's obviously stronger.
Yes, and I think he's probably got at least 50 pounds on the other guy, like in muscle,
Totally. Yeah.
And so I was, right when it started, I was like, I wonder, even though it's all muscle, I wonder if the weight works against you in this.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Because he's like light as a feather, the ball like rolls.
Yeah, he's so little.
He is.
And this is what I love. I absolutely love when the underdog takes it. And ultimately, it is Justin that beats out this ripped, muscular guy who wanted to go against Justin because he'd be easy to beat. And it's kind of Johnny Bananas that helps him with that. Like, he's the one telling him, you have to.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who was yelling. I thought it was Bananas, but I thought it could be CT. But yeah, somebody is coaching him from the sidelines, being like, telling him like, you need to go back, go forward, go back, go forward, like get the thing rolling so that you can get momentum. And like, once he gets it, he's crushing.
Yes.
And the other guy's confused.
Yeah. And stuck.
I feel like, and I feel like it's interesting because like, it's like when people are so pretty that they never have to get a personality. It's like, he's so strong that he doesn't have to be strategic. And so Justin wins because Justin has probably had to rely on being smart, not strong. And so, yeah, Justin crushes. And I was stoked. I was so stoked. And I felt like the guy that lost, Rogan, took it pretty well. He was like, I underestimated him. That was my bad.
That is rare. Like, I'm telling you,
bet.
if Johnny Bananas would have lost, he would have been like, he got lucky. Like that would have been his attitude. So to see Rogan act this way, I really, really loved it because I'm like, that is rare. That is
Yeah.
rare. Like that's something, the only person that I could think of that would act that way is probably straight Derek or Leroy.
Yeah.
Both of them are the type that would say like, he got me. He was great. And so
Like
I
an
love
ounce of humility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't see that from Bananas. No.
Yeah, but it is like at the same time, he played a vital role in getting them to win.
Yeah.
So you do have to give him credit for that.
But he
Justin
did
won,
it.
but
Well, but Johnny did it for his own game. He
totally.
needed the UK person to go. He could give a shit about Justin.
Right. Yeah. It was not for altruistic reasons, but it still was the reason that they won.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they were
yeah.
like gassed out at the end. And it's so funny because when you're watching, I feel like, I think I like texted you this one time. It's like my toxic trait is that like I am like fully, if I worked out for one afternoon, I could do that.
Yeah,
And,
totally.
like I don't understand because when you're watching it,
I mean, how hard could it be?
Exactly. And it's just like when they were like running down in the pit for the balls and like they're getting gassed out. And I'm just like, come on, it's just 5 minutes. Just run. Let's go. But
Yeah, I wonder how
truthfully-
long they're actually there.
Oh my God. I can't. And that's something that you see sometimes on like when you watch that documentary, they showed a couple eliminations where they talked about the fact that like what you at home don't know is that elimination went on for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they are exhausted and we only see 3 minutes of it,
Yeah.
So I'm curious like how long they were on those hamster wheels. Like if it was longer because I mean they just looked completely wiped.
Yeah, the way that Justin sort of just tumbled inside of it at the end, like he was going with the flow of the ocean. Like yeah.
So, and that was pretty much, it. Then we got like some scenes for the rest of the season, not just next week. It looks like we're going to have an old school fight, which that will get you sent home. Because I did see like there was an argument and producers had stepped in and like grabbed someone. And if you put your hands on anyone, then you are out. Like that.
You didn't see who it was?
I did not see who it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were able to reach the person. And what's funny is that they all know like that is a violation that will get you sent home. Not every, like if you sneak in a cell phone, then you're going to have to pay like a really expensive fine. But if you hit someone, you're out. And they know that. And so what's funny is like when this happens and they argue, you'll see other casts like screaming at the person, especially if it's somebody on their team or a strong one, trying to remind them like they will send you home. Don't do it. Don't do it. But they're so angry and so hyped. They can't help it.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions. So for for Johnny Bananas, is he the type of person that will instigate but be able to control his temper when needed? Or does he lose his temper and could he be involved in something like that?
No, he could instigate it. He would definitely instigate it.
Yeah. He's too smart.
He might even work really hard to get the person to hit him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But lose his temper? No. Now he's the person that like while you're yelling, he's laughing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, I got you worked up, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that cute how much power I have over you?
He's awful. He's awful.
You're so weak and small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's great TV, I will say. Like, he really does stand out. You know, when you watch TV shows and you're like, this person, they just look like a normal person. They act, but there's something about them, like they were made to be on TV. They stand out in this crowd, and he's one of those people.
Yeah. Yeah. I did see that Derek, that's gay. So Cara Maria, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying this. We started this show because we care about what's going on politically in the world.
Oh, yeah. I know earlier when you sort of brushed around it, and then I did too, because that's so part of the culture of living in America right now. But yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Trump supporter.
Yeah, she's a Trumper. And one of the things that I find really annoying about the fact that she's a Trumper is that she's the one, like, she keeps making these TikToks about being attacked for being a Trump supporter. So she'll make a TikTok that's just like,
They're always such little whiny bitches.
yes. And so she'll
Sorry.
make one that's just like, you know, when you're sick of everyone here just to talk about Donald Trump, and it'll be like a cute thing. And I'm like, you're the one that keeps bringing it up. It's you. Like, you're focused on it. We're not.
I found out because you posted it on your social media.
Yes. Yes. And her and Gay Derek had a social media falling out because of the politics. And so there were people that were upset to see them on the challenge, and that Derek, there was a point where he says, I'm not going to vote for Justin, or no, whoever the other guy is, because it's Cara Maria's partner and I care about Cara Maria. And people were upset because they were like, Derek, you called her out for the things that she has said. Why are you giving a crap about her? And so he went on Instagram yesterday and said that when he arrived at the house, they sat down and had a talk. And he felt like the way that she explained how she felt about certain policies, he was able to forgive her. And I guess, like, she was clear that, like, she doesn't support Trump when it comes to his policies on gay, transgender, whatever. But it's like she does support this particular thing. And I think it's like the crunchy granola conspiracy theory shit. Yes. Yeah.
I really respect that he's able to see that and move past it without thinking what I think, which is that's really dumb. And the person that you think is helping in that way is removing policies that protect our public health. And you've just been indoctrinated into the cult. And that is not a good excuse to me. But you know how I feel.
I agree. Like, I don't know. And I think people were just disappointed in him. Even after he made the post, there was still a feeling of like, no, she's not on our side. And you more so than a lot of others should know that and be upset by this.
I know. It's like I feel like that is being a bigger person than I would be able to be. And I can't criticize that. I think that that's fair enough. If that's how if you are actually able to get to a place where you're like, I love this person, then that is like true empathy and compassion. What we talk about on the left as being part of our whole ideology. So, he is kind of practicing what we preach.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Because it doesn't mean I would do it.
I know. And I wish that I had that in me, because I think I would, again, and I think because of like the smugness in some of her posts, it would be hard for me to like sit down and like hear you out. Because I'd be like, it feels like you kind of like that you support him. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, so there was some drama there. I was interested. I was curious to see what he was going to say, because I did remember that when this all started and she had come out, he had attacked her pretty harshly on social media.
Yeah. Well, I will say we will post the thing that Justin posted to our social so that everybody can see that.
Derek.
Yep, Derek. Yep. What did I say?
Justin.
There's a lot of them. We will post the thing that Derek posted to our social media so everybody can see that. If you have found this podcast and haven't listened to our previous episodes where we've talked about politics, then welcome. We are both extremely progressive, and we talked a lot about that at the beginning of this podcast. This podcast started largely as an outlet for us to get some of our thoughts out of our heads and out of our bodies and into the world. And then, once a week we would do an episode about pop culture to lighten the mood a little and just talk about silly, fun things that are stupid and that don't really have any impact on the world as a whole. But anyways, that's just a little thing. So if that's not, where you are in your ideology, then you might not love this podcast and what we sometimes say.
Yeah. And I think we do try to I think we both worked hard at trying to see maybe not the other side, but have a little bit more empathy and understanding. We've talked about before the fact that, my husband is really just a rhino, Republican in name only at this point because he doesn't support the party. But we know that that's not, not everybody that is a Republican is MAGA. And we do
Exactly.
see a huge difference between there's a distinction
Yeah.
between those things to us.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And I personally will fight the idea that, you can be a financially conservative Republican, but still believe in social rights, because at this point in time, it is black and white, unfortunately, and for almost all politicians, like they're voting party lines. And so if you believe that gay people should be married, if you believe that programs like Medicaid and Medicare and other social programs, SNAP and WIC and all of those things help people, if you believe that this should be a country that helps people in poverty get lifted out of poverty and that policies are a really important part of that, if you believe that we should be regulating the air quality, the water quality, the food quality in this country, then that is all policies that are supported by the left right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think, we're the first to say that doesn't mean that everything on the left is perfect. And,
Yeah.
we know that, even when you brought up regulations, we also know that there are areas where that has went too far and hindered, the railway in California that they've been working on for 30 years.
Yeah.
We know that there's things that have to be ironed out. We're not saying it's perfect. It's just there's right now on the right, it just feels like such an atrocious amount of human rights violations.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter. You can't do the whole, the left this, the left that, because it just doesn't matter. This is too much. And we know that. When we were on vacation together last week, we watched the new South Park, which has been all over the news.
Yeah.
And I thought,
listen, once you watch it, you can't unsee it. I'm just going to warn you.
Yeah, you can't unsee it. And it's, I was talking to my my oldest son about it, who's old enough to watch South Park, in my opinion. And I said to him, I was like, so what did you think of the episode? And he was like, well, I liked it, but I felt like it was purposely overly vulgar just for the sake of being vulgar. And which that's South Park, and what I said to him is, I was like, you're not wrong, but I think the point of it is how pissed off Donald Trump is that he's been made fun of in such a vulgar way. You know what I mean? That anger is what makes it just a perfect episode. Because there's other people that they do that to, that they roast, that they attack, that they whatever. And there's plenty of people that don't give a shit.
Totally.
They don't care. But
yeah.
You could totally see Donald Trump being like, how do we get South Park off the air? That is now my
God.
Number one.
Yeah, they know that they put themselves in his crosshair. They would have known that going into it, because he can't help but retaliate against people that make fun of him, because he's got such a fragile ego. I have to tell you, last night I had a really good chat with my nephew, Aiden, he's a freshman in college this year, and he writes for the school paper and wants to major in journalism.
Oh, I love that.
And I didn't realize that my parents were the only people that were Republican in my family, pretty much.
Oh, I love that.
Until recently.
I mean, I don't love that for you, that it's your parents, but the fact that the rest of your family, that's good.
Yeah, news to me. And I was talking to Aiden about it last night, because I was like, I didn't realize that for the most part, this family is a safe space to talk about these things. But I had been seeing him post on social media about especially the immigration stuff. And he wrote an article for the school paper about how one of his classmates, he interviewed one of his classmates about immigration. And this was when people were being persecuted on college campuses for speaking out against the atrocities in Gaza. And they were afraid to identify themselves because they didn't want to be persecuted and sent away. And he goes to school in like rural Missouri, and he was just telling me about the kind of culture of boys his age and how like his roommate was pretty red pilled, and a lot of his guy friends are very red pilled and have like follow all of these like male influencers. And he was telling me about how he feels like his roommate has changed his mind on a lot of things. And one thing that he did was he had him take this test that doesn't, it's not like labeling Republican, Democrat, like all of that, but it just asks you like about your policy ideas and like your ideologies. And then it tells you where you fall.
Okay, so hold on. So is the roommate has changed your nephew's mind, or your nephew has changed the roommate's mind?
Yeah, my nephew has started to change the roommate's mind.
Okay, keep going.
And so he was saying like that his friend first took his college history class and was like, oh, this is so much different than what I learned in high school. And that started to kind of get his wheels turning. And then by being roommates with Aiden, he's learned a lot about politics and like the actual implications of things. And it just sounds like kind of slowly over time, just knowing Aiden being really caring about these things, caring a lot about the immigration stuff, a lot about trans rights, because his high school prom queen, I think, or homecoming queen or something, was trans, and she got death threats, and she got, she was treated so poorly, but she won, homecoming queen, and he was really good friends with her. And so I think that was very impactful for him, and understanding just how awfully these people are treated. And, all these little things have kind of built up to this place where he's very politically engaged. And Amanda was saying like, it was so fun to go vote with him for the first time. And I was just like, I'm like so jealous, but anyways. And so we were just chit chatting about the boys his age and how a lot of them have fallen into this conservative thinking through basically like online influencers, which we all knew, but I didn't want to hear. But it sounds like he's like changing people's minds and stuff. And it was just a really good talk.
Well, and I think it's a reminder too that it sounds like your nephew, in being able to change his mind, has done so with kindness and probably being willing to listen as well.
Yeah.
And that's an area of growth for me. Because I can just get very like,
yeah, but
right, like you're wrong, instead of hearing it. And so good for him. I'd love to know if he could send you, like, maybe we could put it in our notes if you can find it, like wherever that like thing that you said he had him do the quiz that's not I'd love to just see that, because I think that's true. There's a lot of times when you sit and actually talk with someone, you find that your policies and beliefs are not that far off. There may just be one thing that, because so many people are like a one issue voter, right? Like if you're against abortion, you could be for strict gun laws. You could be for Medicaid and Medicare. You could be but that one issue gets you to vote that way.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And the reason I actually brought that up, because we were talking about Trump's fragile ego and masculinity. And Aiden is like a star athlete. He's playing college baseball. He from a really young age, like his parents put him in a lot of things. So he did drama, he did baseball, he did ice skating, he did all of these different things because they had to keep him busy. I think he was going to they could tell from a really young age that he was going to be talented and gifted, but like you had to keep him busy. And he's amazing at all of that stuff. And not only that, but has turned into a compassionate, empathetic, kind, patient adult man. And he's like, all of these guys have such fragile masculinity problems that they are always looking for like why they feel inadequate and stuff like that. And so just by modeling, I think, for other people what true masculinity looks like, that you can be an athlete and you can be empathetic, and that doesn't make you gay. Because he's like, yeah, my friends, like a lot of my friends think that caring about things is feminine.
Yeah.
And it's like, sweet baby Jesus, like,
Yeah.
That is sad. That is a
Yeah.
sad place to be. But caring about something a lot is vulnerable,
Yeah.
especially if it doesn't go with the mainstream. And so we had a really good combo about it. But I hope that for everyone, for every 10, red pill kids, there's like one kid like Aiden who has had the right environment and all of that and has been raised that way and can help set an example and hopefully change people's minds.
Yeah, I mean, that gives me some hope. I certainly hope that, like, it's funny because I've had conversations with the boys about like whether or not how I would feel if they became religious, and Davin's been baptized. He might feel differently now, but back then, like, that was important to him. And, so just like questions like that. And I'm always like, no, like, I want you to be whoever you are. You don't have to worry about what I think.
Yeah.
And Davin said, what if we became Republicans? And I'm like, well, then I don't know. Like, that's too far. Like that.
Yeah. And
Because
you'd be like, what happened?
I would feel like, again, because what's going on is so bad, I would feel like, haven't I taught you more about values and caring about people? Because it's that black and white to me.
Yeah. Same.
But so far, I don't think I have to worry. They definitely are compassionate and have heard enough, especially Davin, because he chooses to read up on so many things.
Yeah.
So he doesn't take anything at face value, thank God, because
Yeah.
unfortunately, when you go to TikTok, it's like they're getting the young men are being
Yep.
bombarded with these influencers saying things that
Who
aren't true.
want to make a buck.
Yes. They don't
They
care
are
at all.
morally compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I hope to see more and more like young male influencers that are like your nephew that aren't scared to get on social media. Sometimes there's some that I love, like, when I see like a man that's got like a very thick Southern accent and it just looks very redneck. And
Yeah.
then he starts talking about his progressive values.
Yep.
I'm like, I love you.
Yeah. You're like, wait, I'm sweating.
Yeah. We went to a fundraiser, a congressman that was running, a Democrat, and we went to a fundraiser. It was at somebody's house, and so many people walked up to my husband and were like, if I had seen you on the street, I would never think you'd be at a fundraiser like this.
Yeah. And actually, Aiden's dad looks a lot like Travis.
Oh, wow.
And has like a lot of the same vibe, like an outdoorsy. I don't think he's a veteran, but he's a contractor. He's an outdoorsy dude. He's a hunter. He has a long beard. He wears like, t-shirts and cargo shorts, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't ask Aiden, but I'm assuming that the whole family holds the same beliefs and values.
We need them to start getting on social media.
Totally.
Like, get out there, show that you can be both.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll say one last thing, which is my sister said, because I didn't remember her being particularly political, but when I post things on social media, she'll reply. And I also see Aiden's stuff. So I sort of like connected the dots that she must now be. And so I asked her about that last night. And she said that because she's a teacher. So I thought maybe when she became a teacher or something. And she said when she started getting involved in union work, that's when she really started to realize how much policies affect people's lives like that. And I just thought, that's freaking it. Like, when people are deeply affected and sort of realize the trickle down effect of policies like that, like about unions, for instance, then it starts to make sense. It's like, it's not like laying dormant inside her was a MAGA ideology or something. Like, laying dormant inside her was probably compassion and love and empathy, but also some disconnects from government like policies and stuff, because we're not smart. We're not educated about that stuff. So people don't understand how things affect everything, which is okay. But if you're going to hold a really strong belief, you better freaking learn some stuff.
Well, and I think, the one thing that unfortunately Donald Trump has done really, really well is the truth is that for the majority of us, life is hard. It is hard to have enough money to make ends meet, like let alone vacations and, you know, all that. Like it's really, really hard out there. And he has done a great job at convincing people there's someone to blame for that
Yeah.
and that he's fighting against, even though everything he does is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But he's done a really good job convincing them that they have a right to be angry,
Yeah.
that there is somebody to fight back against, and that, you know, he's going to do it. And so I think it's a lot of misplaced anger. And a lot of these people probably are deep down very compassionate. Like, I don't believe that much of the world is.
I know. And I want to hold space for people to change their opinions. And I want to hold space for the idea that like both things can be true. Somebody can be loving, kind, compassionate, and also have fallen into a set of beliefs that makes them feel validated in their resentment and unhappiness and wanting to look for an excuse and a reason for that and
Yeah.
finding it because they were vulnerable to specific types of messaging from specific types of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally
So,
agree. I totally agree. So,
yeah,
yeah,
no, I want to say like I want to feel that way. We're not there yet.
we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So, this is some of the other stuff that we talk about.
Yep.
So we're
Thanks for joining.
I'm kind of glad that we, you know, we've both taken a big step back.
Yeah.
Because I think
In terms of following the 24-hour news cycle, it was getting to be a bit much.
Yeah, and I think it was like I'm really glad that both of us recognized that our mental health matters, and if this is like, you know, wearing us down and making us feel hopeless, then you have to take a step back. But I'm still glad that we talked about it today. It's nice.
Me too. I am too. I think when it comes up organically, that's the best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this episode of Confessionals and Congressionals. We will be back for the next episode of the challenge recap next week.
And then we will both go to YouTube and watch episode 0 as well.
Yes, and we will report back. So next week we're going to have 2 episodes. Next week we're going to have our challenge recap, I think on Sunday, and then we're also going to have our Sheena memoir book club episode where we're going to talk about Sheena's memoir. So if you didn't read it, we will be talking about that. Listen, guys, you don't have to read it. We'll give you the tidbits because first of all, it's about as long as a pamphlet from the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's basically just a name drop of every celebrity she's ever slept with and then talking about Brock's affair. But I don't want to ruin everything. So we'll get into it next time.
That sounds great.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys. All right.